Today, we're diving into a question that's fascinated humanity for centuries: luck. Think about it. How often have you found yourself thinking, wow, that was lucky, or maybe, I have the worst luck? But what is luck? Is it something real, something out there controlling events in our lives? Or is it just a human-made concept, a way for us to make sense of things we don't understand? Let's start with a big picture. Luck is one of those concepts that seems simple on the surface but gets mind-bending the more you think about it. You can think of luck as a coin flip, random, out of your control, just chance. But philosophers have debated it for centuries, and it's way more than just good or bad fortune. In fact, it touches on the nature of life itself, how we assign meaning to things, and even how we feel about ourselves and the world around us. Let's begin with one of the big questions. Does luck actually exist? This is where we jump into the existential side of things. Existential philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre have argued that the universe is chaotic and indifferent to us. According to this view, there is no lucky or unlucky force at play, just events happening randomly. Sartre would say it's up to each of us to create our own meaning, even when things don't make sense. If something good happens to you, it's not because the universe was smiling down on you, it just happened. The meaning you assign to it is up to you. Now, on the flip side, we have the idea that maybe luck does have a certain power. Think about ancient civilizations. The Greeks, for instance, believed in the goddess Tyche, the personification of luck and fortune. People prayed to her, built shrines, and tried to get on her good side because they thought she had the power to make or break their lives. In many ways, believing in luck gives us a sense of control, a way to think that if we do certain things or act in certain ways, we might attract good fortune. Even today, we carry around lucky charms, avoid breaking mirrors, or cross our fingers, all these little rituals that connect us to something beyond ourselves, something that feels like it might be looking out for us. Let's talk about luck in moral terms. This is where things get really interesting. Have you ever heard of the term moral luck? This is the idea that people's moral judgment is often influenced by factors beyond their control. Let's say two people are texting while driving. One of them hits a pedestrian, the other doesn't. According to moral luck, we tend to judge the person who hit someone more harshly, even though both made the same reckless decision. The outcome was just luck. One happened to hit someone, and one didn't. But morally, we see them differently because of the result. Moral philosophers have debated this for ages, asking whether it's fair to hold people accountable for things influenced by luck. The idea of moral luck really challenges how we think about responsibility. In some ways, moral luck forces us to acknowledge that so much of what we call success or failure has to do with circumstances we didn't choose. It's a humbling thought, and one that makes us ask, how much of our lives are truly within our control? Now, let's look at the existential impact of luck on our sense of identity and purpose. One big idea here is that if we truly believe in luck, it can make life feel meaningless, or it can make it feel magical. Existentialists like Albert Camus believed that the randomness of life could be overwhelming, even absurd. Think about it. You might be born into wealth or poverty, into a loving family or a neglectful one. These circumstances shape who you become, yet you had no say in any of it. Camus argued that life is absurd because we're always trying to find meaning in a universe that doesn't give us any clues. But here's the twist. Camus believed that even if life is random and absurd, we can choose to find joy and purpose in the very act of living. He suggested that we embrace the randomness, even revel in it. According to Camus, luck, good or bad, is part of life's absurd beauty. When something lucky happens, we can enjoy it, and when something unlucky happens, we can find strength in choosing to keep going. This brings us to the idea of gratitude. How often do we actually stop and think about all the lucky things in our lives? Philosopher Martha Nussbaum talks about the importance of recognizing the role of luck in our successes. If we acknowledge how much luck has played a role, we might become more humble, more understanding of others, and more grateful. Instead of thinking we did it all on our own, we see the help we had, the chances we were given, and maybe even how things just happened to fall into place. Nussbaum believes that this awareness of luck can foster compassion for others. When we understand that luck played a role in our lives, it's easier to empathize with people who might not have had the same advantages. This ties back to an ancient concept from the Stoics. The Stoics had this idea of amor fati, or a love of fate. Essentially, they believed that whatever happens, good or bad, should be embraced because it's all part of a bigger picture. They didn't think of luck as random, they thought of it as part of fate, something to accept rather than resist. In a way, the Stoics were saying, whatever luck brings, I will love it, because it's part of my life. It's fascinating to think about how luck shapes our lives, isn't it? One moment, one chance meeting, or one unexpected event can completely alter the course of our lives. But what's even more interesting is how we interpret those events. Some people might say they were meant to be because they met their best friend by chance. Others might feel unlucky because they missed an opportunity. But ultimately, luck is what we make of it. We give it meaning, decide what it means to us, and carry it forward in our lives. Here's another philosophical question. Can we create our own luck? Some thinkers believe we can. Psychologist Richard Wiseman studied lucky people and found that they tend to have a particular mindset. They're open to new experiences, they notice opportunities, they have a positive outlook, and they're resilient when things don't go as planned. Maybe being lucky is, in part, about seeing the world in a way that allows you to spot good fortune when it appears. So, what's the takeaway? The philosophy of luck challenges us to think about what's within our control and what isn't. From the randomness of life events to the way we judge people based on outcomes they didn't control, luck is deeply woven into how we understand the world. And yet, how we respond to luck, how we interpret it, learn from it, and even create it is something that's up to us. Maybe luck isn't something that just happens to us. Maybe it's something we can shape by the way we see the world, the way we interact with others, and the choices we make in the face of uncertainty. At the end of the day, luck might be a bit of mystery, a bit of magic, and a bit of meaning we assign to the events of our lives. And whether we see it as random chaos, divine intervention, or just the way the universe works, it's something that keeps life interesting.